Happy day everyone, this is the part 2 of anatomy of flowering plants. Today we will continue from the complex tissue. The complex tissue are made up of different types of cells and they are generally xylem and phloem. So first discuss about the xylem. This xylem will help in the conduction of water and minerals and also mechanical strength. Okay, this is the function of xylem, and xylem consists of 4 types of components which are xylem tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. To talk about the tracheids, they are tube-like, thick, lignified word and tapering ends. If you see, you can easily remember. Tracheids start with T, tube-like, thick and also tapering ends. This is the characteristic of tracheids. And talking about the vessels, they are absent in gymnosperms. X refers to absent. They are absent in gymnosperms and they are cylindrical tube-like structure and they have perforation. Perforations are nothing but through which the water transportation will be happening, and the tracheids contain vessel members. They are made up of vessel members and they are also lignified walls and a large central cavity. So both tracheids and vessels are dead and they have lignified walls. The 1 and 2, which is tracheids and vessels, are the main water transporting elements in the flowering plants. Why I have mentioned of flowering plants? Because in case of gymnosperm there is no vessel at all, so it won't be coming. Okay. Then talking about the xylem fibers, they are of thick walls, central lumens and they may be septate or aseptate. This is about the xylem fibers. And the xylem parenchyma, which is the living. Among the all 4 components, the xylem parenchyma will be the living one, and this is of thin walled and cellulose. In the previous video itself we talked about the characteristics of parenchyma. It will be made up of cellulose and also they store food such as starch or in the form of fat. Apart from that, they will be storing other materials such as tannin also. The radial conduction of water in the parenchyma will be taking place by the ray parenchymatous cells. So these are the about 4 components in the xylem. And talking about the primary xylem, the primary xylem is further divided into proto and metaxylem. The proto is the one which formed earlier and meta is the next one. So talking about that, in case of protophyllum, in case of stem, it is called as endark, which means the protoxylem will be present towards the center and the metaxylem will be present towards the periphery. This is in case of stem. And in case of root, which is exarch, the protoxylem towards the periphery and the metaxylem towards the center or pith. Is it clear? In case of stem, it is called as endark and the protoxylem will be present towards the center and the metaxylem will be present towards the periphery. But in case of root, the proto will be towards the periphery and the metaxylem will be towards the center. Okay. To remember this, whether it is exarch or endark, you can take this word. Guess D, send. So stem will be referred to as endark. So the next one will be obviously root. Okay. So we have completed about xylem. To talk about the phloem, it will be used in the transportation of food materials. Okay. From the leaves to the other parts of the plant, and these consist of seed tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phylum fibers. Okay. In gymnosperms, instead of seed tube elements and companion cells, it is replaced by albuminous cells and seed cells. This is the difference between angiosperms and gymnosperms in case of phloem elements. Okay, so let's talk about each one in detail. So seed tube elements, these are long tube-like structure and they are in close association with the companion cells. We will see the reason in further steps. Companion cells, and they form sieve plates. Okay, by the perforation which are sieve-like manner, they will be forming the sieve plates and they have peripheral cytoplasm, large vacuole, and they don't have nucleus. Their activities are controlled by the nuclei of companion cells. For this reason, they are in close association with the companion cells. So to talk about the companion cells, they are form of parenchymatous cells and they are associated with the sieve tube elements through pits. Okay. So and they will be maintaining the pressure gradient in the sieve tube elements. This is about companion cells. And talk about the phloem parenchyma. They are made up of tapering cylindrical cells and they have cytoplasm and also nucleus, and they are obviously living, and their walls is made up of cellulose and pits. Via this lipids, they will be having the plasmodesmatal connection between each cells, which will be helping them in the water or food transportation, and they will be storing food and resins, lactose and mucilage, etc. And it is mostly absent in the monocot. In case of monocot, this phloem is mostly absent. Next, phloem fibers. So these are also called as bast fibers. These are made up of sclerenchymatous cells, and they are maximum absent in the primary phloem. We don't have this phloem fibers, and they are unbranched, pointed, and they have apices like thorn-like structures, and they are also of thick walled. Okay. Then when they become mature, when the phloem fibers become mature, they will become dead. Obviously, it is made up of sclerenchymatous cells, which is non-living, and they are also useful in making of jute, flax, and hemp. So these are their economic importance of phloem fibers or bast fibers. Okay, to talk about the primary phloem, they have narrow sieve tubules, and it is also called as protophyllum. And it is talking about the secondary phloem, it is also called as metaphyllum, and they have bigger sieve tubules. So this is the difference between primary and secondary one. So still now we have talked about the complex tissue, xylem and phloem, and their components, and some more. There are major differences in gymnosperm and angiosperm in case of their components. We have discussed about that also. And in previous video we have talked about simple tissue, which is of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. We have discussed about the tissues. Now we are further moving to talk about the tissue system. So based on the tissues, based on their location, they are further divided into three types. The first one will be epidermal tissue system. This epidermal tissue system is consists of epidermal cells, stomata, and epidermal appendages. So to discuss about this one by one, starting with epidermal cells, they form the outer layer, and they are elongated, and they will be compacted with the no spaces, and they formed of single layer. This epidermis will be occur in the single layer, and they formed of the parenchymatous cell. So outside the epidermis there will be a covering called cuticle, which is a waxy thick layer which prevents the loss of water. So in case of root, it is absent because roots are formed for absorbing of water, because this cuticle will be prevent the loss of water, and it is not present in the roots. So and further we will be discussed about the next tissue systems in the next video.